There are phases in life when every familiar foundation seems to tremble. Carefully drawn plans suddenly dissolve. Beliefs that once felt solid become fragile. No matter how strong a person may be, there are moments when darkness covers the mind. Loss, breakdown, illness, anxiety, inner crisis. It is precisely in such times that we truly face the fundamental question: how can we maintain peace when everything around us is in flux? More than 2,000 years ago, beneath the Bodhi tree in the land of ancient India, a human being sat down with the determination to find an answer to the suffering of human existence. That person was Gautama Buddha. What is remarkable is that he did not seek a world without suffering, but discovered a path to understand and transcend suffering within this very world. That wisdom does not promise to eliminate the storms of life, but shows human beings how to stand firm in the midst of them. Moments of difficulty often trigger instinctive reactions: resistance, blame, fear, or escape. We want things to be different. We want reality to conform to our wishes. Yet the more we resist, the tighter suffering seems to grip. In the light of the Dharma, suffering is not an enemy to be destroyed, but a truth to be faced directly. When we stop turning away, stop denying, stop looking for someone to blame, we begin to enter a different space, a space of understanding. Buddhist wisdom teaches that the nature of life is impermanence. Everything changes: emotions, circumstances, the body, relationships, even the thoughts we assumed to be me. In peaceful times, we may forget this, but in adversity, impermanence appears clearly like a mirror. If we refuse to accept change, we will be crushed by it. But if we learn to see change as a natural part of the flow, much of our fear begins to fade. Hardship is also the time when layers of illusion fall away. In success, we easily believe we control everything. In failure, we realize we are more fragile than we imagined. Rather than seeing this as humiliation, the Dharma invites us to see it as an opportunity for awakening. It is precisely when we are pushed into a dark corner that we have the chance to see clearly the psychological habits that have long governed us: attachment, the craving for recognition, the fear of abandonment, the need for control. In such moments, practice is not something lofty. It may be only a slow breath in the midst of panic, a moment of silence before reacting, a decision not to speak hurtful words when emotions rise. These small actions, repeated day after day, form the foundation of inner freedom. Buddhist wisdom does not deny pain. It does not require us to force a smile when the heart is breaking. On the contrary, it teaches us to stay with that feeling, to observe it, to experience it without identifying with it. Sadness is not me. Anxiety is not me. They are simply states that arise and pass away. When we realize this, the space begins to form between the observer and the observed state. And within that space, peace gradually appears. Perhaps external circumstances have not yet changed. The problems may still remain, but within, something is different. We are no longer completely swept away. We began to sense a steadier foundation, not because life has become easy, but because the mind resists less. It is precisely this lessening of resistance that reduces suffering. In this age of constant upheaval, when negative information floods our awareness, when economic and social pressures accumulate, when people increasingly feel lonely in the midst of crowds, this wisdom becomes even more essential. It is not a doctrine for debate, but a path for practice, a path that begins by returning to oneself. Buddhist wisdom for difficult times is not a promise of a miracle that instantly changes circumstances. It is an invitation to go deeply inward, to look directly at reality, and to discover the strength hidden within awareness. When we learn to understand the nature of suffering, we are no longer ruled by it. When we learn to loosen attachment, we are no longer so afraid of loss. And when we recognize that everything is moving according to the law of impermanence, we begin to live more lightly amid uncertainty. We may not control what happens, but we can learn to control how we respond. We may not prevent the waves, but we can learn to stand firm in the ocean. And it is precisely in the most difficult days that the seeds of wisdom and compassion have the greatest opportunity to grow. That is where the true journey begins. When entering difficult phases of life, the first thing people often lose is not money, status, or relationships, but the sense of inner safety. Everything becomes fragile. The mind begins to raise countless questions. Why is this happening to me? When will it end? Am I strong enough to overcome it? These very questions, repeated silently over and over, create a second layer of suffering, the suffering born from resistance. In the teachings of Gautama Buddha, suffering is not merely external events. He called it dukkha, a profound state of unsatisfactoriness that exists in the very way we cling to reality. When we want life to always be favorable, we are resisting its impermanent nature. And when we resist what cannot be changed, we won ourselves. For many Western readers, the idea of acceptance is sometimes misunderstood as surrender. But in Buddhist wisdom, acceptance is not giving up. It is looking directly at reality without adding the story of fear and judgment. When a storm arises, we cannot command it to stop, but we can seek shelter. Likewise, when adversity appears, we do not need to deny our emotions. We only need to learn not to let them control our entire life. One of the most important practices in difficult times is returning to the breath. The breath is the bridge between body and mind. When anxiety rises, the rhythm of breathing becomes hurried. When we consciously slow the breath, the body sends a signal of safety to the brain. Just a few minutes of mindful attention to each inhale and exhale can create a precious pause, a pause that helps us not react hastily in moments of strong emotion. But Buddhist wisdom does not stop at calming the mind. It goes deeper, helping us understand the very self that is suffering. In many cultures, people are taught to build a strong identity, to assert who I am. Yet when circumstances change, that identity is easily threatened. When a job is lost, we feel worthless. When a relationship breaks, we feel incomplete. But if we look deeply, we will see that those roles are only temporary garments. Buddhism speaks of knowing self, not to deny the existence of the individual, but to remind us that we are not limited by any label. When we do not completely identify with success or failure, we are less shaken by change. In the midst of difficulty, this insight brings a quiet kind of freedom, the freedom of not being defined by circumstances. Another factor that helps people stand firm in adversity is compassion. When suffering, we often withdraw and focus on our personal pain. But when we open our hearts and recognize that millions of others are also going through similar challenges, the feeling of isolation begins to dissolve. Instead of asking, "Why only me?" we may whisper, This is part of the human experience. That small shift softens a great deal of psychological pressure. Compassion does not only extend outward, but also turns inward. Many Westerners grow up under pressure to always be strong, always be positive, but the compulsion to be okay when we are not okay only deepens the wound. Buddhist wisdom encourages us to treat ourselves like a close friend, gently, patiently, and without judgment. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable without shame, we create the conditions for true healing. Difficulty is also an opportunity to redefine success. The modern world often measures human worth by productivity and achievement. But in the light of the Dharma, the deepest success is inner peace. A person may lose many external things, but if they retain awareness and kindness, they have never truly failed. Practicing mindfulness in the midst of adversity is like holding a small lamp in the darkness of night. That light may not completely dispel the darkness, but it is enough to see the next step. Each time we notice ourselves sinking into anxiety and gently return to the present, we are lighting that lamp. Each time we choose to respond with understanding rather than anger, we are nourishing it. Gradually, a subtle shift takes place. We no longer ask, "How can I escape this situation immediately?" but begin to ask, "What is this situation teaching me?" The second question opens the door to growth. It transforms adversity from an enemy into a teacher. For international readers, especially those living in fast-paced and high-pressure environments, this wisdom may serve as a gentle reminder that human value does not lie in speed or perfection. In a world that constantly demands we be more, Buddhism invites us to return to enough. Enough in each breath, enough in each present moment. Ultimately, the most profound gift that Buddhist wisdom offers in difficult times is not an instant solution, but a stable foundation. When we understand that everything changes, we fear less. When we understand that suffering is part of the human journey, we blame less. And when we understand that within us there is always the capacity to observe, accept, and transform, we begin to trust the inner strength that has long been present. Difficulties will pass, but if we practice rightly, what remains after the storm is not merely survival, but growth, a deeper heart, a more open mind, and a peace that no longer depends entirely on external circumstances. Escaping difficulty does not always mean changing the circumstances immediately. Sometimes what needs to change first is the way we stand within those circumstances. In the wisdom of Gautama Buddha, the path to overcoming suffering does not begin with running away, but with looking directly. The first step is to pause. When adversity strikes, the natural reaction of the mind is panic or resistance. We want to fix everything right away, but a mind swept up in fear cannot see the path clearly. Therefore, give yourself a conscious pause, not to delay responsibility, but to regain clarity. Sit down, slow your breathing, feel your feet touching the ground. Notice the rhythm of your heartbeat. Just a few minutes of fully being present with the body can pull you out of the whirlwind of negative thoughts. That pause is like anchoring a ship in a stormy sea. It does not calm the sea immediately, but it keeps the ship from capsizing. The second step is to name the suffering honestly. Many people try to appear strong by denying their emotions, but emotions that are rejected do not disappear. They only hide deeper and create more pressure. Ask yourself, What am I truly feeling? Is it fear? Is it disappointment? Is it hurt? When you name the emotion, you begin to create distance between the observer and the observed emotion, and within that distance, choice appears. You are not your fear, you are not your failure. You are the one experiencing them. The third step is to accept reality before trying to change it. This may seem paradoxical, but blind resistance only increases suffering. When you say this should not be happening, you are fighting the past, something that no longer has the possibility of being changed. When you say this is happening, you open the possibility of acting from the present. Acceptance is not surrender. It is the foundation for effective action. A doctor must diagnose accurately before treating an illness. Similarly, before escaping difficulty, you must see it clearly as it is. The fourth step is to break the problem into smaller parts. Difficulty often overwhelms us because we see it as a massive block, but any challenge is made up of many smaller components. Ask yourself, what is the smallest thing I can do today? It may be just a phone call that needs to be made, an email that needs to be sent, a short exercise session to regain energy. Small steps, when repeated consistently, create great movement. Just as water dripping drop by drop can wear away stone, small but steady actions can carve a path through adversity. The fifth step is to cultivate compassion for yourself. In hardship, we often become our own harshest critic. I should have done better. Why did I make such a mistake? But self-blame only drains the energy needed to overcome the challenge. Try changing your inner voice. If a close friend were in your situation, what would you say to them? You would encourage, comfort, and remind them that they still have value. Offer yourself the same kindness. Self-compassion does not make you weak, it makes you more resilient. The sixth step is to let go of the illusion of control. Much of suffering comes from the desire to control what lies beyond our power. Other people's thoughts, final outcomes, the changes of time. When you focus on what you can control, your attitude, your actions, your present choices, you reclaim your inner strength. Be clear in distinguishing what belongs to you and what does not. Letting go of what does not belong to you is not indifference, it is wisdom. The seventh step is to seek support. In many modern cultures, people are taught to handle everything on their own, but no one needs to walk through darkness alone. Sincere sharing with a friend, a community, or a spiritual guide can greatly lighten the burden. Even reading profound teachings or listening to stories of overcoming adversity can awaken hope. When we see that others have walked through darkness, we begin to believe that we can as well. Finally, view difficulty as a process of transformation. A seed must break open in order to sprout. Metal must pass through fire to become stronger. Human beings are the same. Many of the deepest qualities, patience, empathy, humility, are formed only through trial. This does not mean you must love difficulty, but you can choose not to let it define you. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, who can I become after going through this? Escaping difficulty is not a one-step journey. It is a process made up of many small moments. One mindful breath, one wise decision, one kind act toward yourself. Each such moment is a step out of the darkness, and gradually, as you patiently continue forward, you will realize this miracle. The circumstances may not yet be perfect, but within you something has changed. You are steadier, more open, less afraid. When the mind changes, the world you see also changes, and it is within that quiet transformation that the path out of difficulty truly begins to unfold. Finally, after all the analyses, the practices, the advice, and the methods, perhaps the most essential thing is still something simple. Return and look back at yourself, because if you observe carefully, you will realize a profound truth. Difficulty has never been entirely in the external world. The world simply operates according to its laws. Change is natural, loss is natural, birth and death are natural, but persistent suffering, the kind that exhausts us, arises from the way our mind reacts. Gautama Buddha did not teach people how to control the world. He taught how to understand the mind, because once the mind is understood, the world is no longer a threat. The same rain can make a farmer joyful and a traveler uncomfortable. The rain does not change. Only the way of receiving it changes, and life is the same. We often think, if circumstances were different, I would be happy. But when circumstances change, the mind continues to find something else to worry about. When this problem is gone, the mind creates another. When we achieve what we desire, the fear of losing it appears. Without awareness, we will keep running in that circle, thinking we are fighting the world, while in reality we are being carried away by movements within that have not yet been illuminated. Real difficulty begins when we believe all our thoughts are true, when we believe fear is absolute reality, when we believe the present emotion will last forever. But if we pause and observe, we will see thoughts come and go, emotions rise and fall. No state exists permanently. The only thing enduring is the capacity to be aware of those movements. Awareness does not stop the waves from rising. It helps us become the one standing on the shore watching the waves. When you are swept into thought, you are the wave. When you are aware that you are thinking, you are the ocean, and the ocean does not fear the waves. Many people wait for a day and life will become easier, but life does not promise ease. What it offers is the opportunity to mature, and maturity does not occur when everything is favorable. It happens when we learn not to collapse in the midst of challenge. Each time you choose calm instead of panic, you are maturing. Each time you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, you are maturing. Each time you recognize a negative thought without letting it lead you, you are freeing yourself. Remember that the outer world may tremble, but if within you there is a solid foundation, you will not be easily swept away, and that foundation does not come from money, status, or recognition. It comes from the deep understanding that you are not the temporary fluctuations of your mind. Difficulty does not come to destroy you. It comes to show you where within you there is still a lack of awareness. If there is still attachment, you will suffer when you lose. If there is still fear, you will tremble before uncertainty. If there is still clinging to a self-image, you will be hurt when that image cracks. But when you begin to see these things with honesty and without judgment, a quiet transformation begins. Do not wait until everything is stable before practicing awareness. It is in the midst of chaos that practice is most valuable. It is when emotions surge that you have the greatest opportunity to see yourself clearly. If you are only aware when life is calm, that is not yet freedom. True freedom is keeping the light of awareness even when darkness surrounds you. So the next time difficulty appears, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, What within me is reacting this way? That question will lead you into a journey more important than any external solution. Because when you understand your reaction, you reclaim your power of choice. You cannot stop the wind from blowing, but you can adjust the sail. You cannot control every event, but you can master your attitude. And when your attitude changes, your experience of life changes as well. Always remain aware in each breath, aware in